Hello, everybody. I'm Father Christopher Tiano, pastor of St. Paul VI Parish in Hamden, Connecticut. St. Paul VI Parish is a community of believers in Jesus Christ who are united in our commitment to loving service, to worship, evangelize, and give. We welcome all people to join in our vision to be a light in the darkness. And this is the Light in the Darkness videocast, and it's a special Lenten series on saints. I'm so excited to have as my guest today Vijay DaCosta, who is a teacher, a theology teacher at Fairfield College Preparatory School, North Benson Road in Fairfield, Connecticut. I think that's a great plug I gave.
Yeah.
Yes. Vijay teaches at my alma mater, and I'm a great parishioner and great member of our parish. And I invited him here today to talk about St. Ignatius of Loyola. I like St. Ignatius of Loyola. Now, St. Ignatius of Loyola is the founder of?
The Jesuits.
The Jesuits.
Also known as the Society of Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fact about St. Ignatius of Loyola?
There's quite a few facts, but I think the thing that, for me, that I find to be the most fascinating thing about him is that at a certain point in his own spiritual journey, he chose to go back to school and to learn Latin alongside elementary school students, right? He's like, you can just imagine this older gentleman just sitting amongst all these kids in these small tables, and it's just a funny image to me. But it's about this idea of humility, right? That he definitely exercised quite often in his life, and I've always appreciated that.
I think that's the endearing image I always have of Ignatius, is sitting in that classroom and they were little kids. They were tiny little kids. And I think that's something amazing. He created something that was more than just a religious order. He created a system.
He did. Yeah. So his the spirituality that comes from his work is Ignatian spirituality, right? Which focuses on the idea of finding God in all things, the idea of meeting the living God in our daily life, in our worlds, in our relationships, and all the different things that happen, whether they're things that seem very positive or things that don't seem so positive. And so it challenges us to kind of meet God outside the walls of our churches, right? And to kind of make sure that we're in tune with who we are and how we are living our authentic selves, the way God made us to be.
It's really I think a lifelong journey to figure out who it is that God calls us to be. But I always found in my appreciation of Ignatian spirituality is that we could be assured, and he gives us a method, right? He gives us a way of praying and way of discerning God's call in our life.
Yeah. So his work is his most famous work is the Spiritual Exercises, as I'm sure you're familiar with from your time at many Jesuit schools. But it's a manual in many ways. It's not a book that you just read cover to cover. It's a manual that guides you through a retreat, a 30-day retreat. Those 30 days can be an actual 30 days, or it can be something that's stretched out much longer or shorter. It depends on the person, but it's a way to live and to engage with God and to examine what goes on in our hearts and our minds. I know for myself that a fruit of that work that I really enjoy is the examine, right? To pray this 5-step prayer where we reflect on our sense of gratitude, what's given us a sense of consolation, things that have given us desolation, and what we look forward to in the rest of our day and beyond. And for me, it grounds me, especially as a teacher of high school boys. So, but I really enjoy the spirituality for that reason. And for me personally, it has helped me to appreciate the long-standing tradition of Catholicism intellectually as well as liturgically and spiritually. Like, there's so many things that I've come to appreciate more with the Eucharist, with all the sacraments, with the idea of community and fellowship within our parish and beyond. So I can't thank St. Ignatius enough for that.
Yes, he gives us, the saints in general light a way for us, light a path for us. And if we want to figure out how it is to follow Jesus, the Catholic faith gives us these wonderful guideposts, these examples of saints. And I know it's controversial. I know some people outside of our faith may have this different notion of how we view the saints, but
Sure.
we view them as models and we view them as intercessors. Just as St. Ignatius gives us a path, lights a path for us, St. Ignatius also intercedes for us.
For sure, yeah.
And I can remember when I studied in Rome before my major exams, going to the Gesù and making sure that I knelt at St. Ignatius's tomb and asked him to pray for me for my exams, and I did pretty well in school. So I guess it worked. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Sure.
We as a parish try to be a light in the darkness, and we view that phrase in all different ways. And during Lent, we're looking at saints to help who ignite the light in the darkness for us. How do you think Saint Ignatius lights the path of darkness today for us?
So I think that a lot of people, and I think this is not specific to this time and age, but it can be universal in terms of the human experience, but I think that we oftentimes find ourselves in a path that we may not like or we may not appreciate, or we find ourselves in situations that doesn't necessarily lead us to being our best selves, right? But a part of Ignatius' journey is having experienced like this earth-shattering or leg-shattering event, where his leg is shattered by a cannonball, and he goes into recovery in a castle, and it's this time in which he has his conversion, right, where he reads about the life of the saints, and he reads the Bible, and he reads about the life of Christ, and it inspires him, saying, maybe I should let go of these worldly desires to be a soldier, to be a gambler, and so forth, and to really embrace maybe a new path that has been lit for me. And so for me, that cannonball moment, and that's what I was talking with my students, the cannonball moment tells us that, in the blink of an eye, everything can change. Mm-hmm. And even though it may make us pretty upset or frustrated or even confused about what's going on, it definitely allows us to understand that maybe there is a different path, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And our dreams can change and our hopes can change, but ultimately we are taking who we are and the gifts that we have, and we can go forth with a sense of courage and a sense of fortitude of knowing that. And I think that the idea that I keep harkening on is being your true authentic self, the way God made you to be. And I think those paths allow you to do that. And it's up to you to choose to go down that path if you so choose. And I think Ignatius did that. And it shows for all of us that when a new path is shown, maybe we can go with a sense of courage and a sense of fortitude. That's a great thought to leave on. Okay. I think if you want to know more information around St. Ignatius, we have a link to formed.org, which has some great resources on St. Ignatius of Loyola. The Jesuits have a wonderful app that's free, where every morning at 7 o'clock I get a nice music to remind me to do my examining. It's a great stuff. But best of all, with St. Ignatius, with all of us at St. Paul VI Parish, you could be a light in the darkness. The world needs that light. And this Lent, let's shine forth that path and be a light in the darkness. I'm so glad you were with us today, VJ. Thank you.
And good luck at the prep.
Yeah.
It's a great stuff. I remember my years very fondly at Fairfield College Preparatory School, North Benson Road, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Great plug.
God bless you all. Be a light in the darkness. Thanks.